Hi, I'm Bill Vales, and I'm here with John Mitchell, noted writer from Littleton. And John's going to talk to us about some of the works that he's produced. John, good to see you again.
Yes.
You were here with us before talking about Ceremonial Time, one of the books that you're known for. Can you give us just a little synopsis of that?
Well, it's basically a 15,000-year history of a single square mile. And I mean, that's the subject, and that's what has drawn attention to it. And you know, to get that story, I just went through all the archaeological records, the records of pollen deposits, the historical records that are written in the English history, and the tax records, and then up through our time, you know, with the the people who are living now in our time and have memories of our past. And it's just, you know, I gathered everything I could about this single square mile, and I put it down in this book, Ceremonial Time.
Interesting, interesting. The text, I've read your book, I've read several of your books, and the text has a lot of colorful and interesting characters, which is somewhat of an understatement. What are some of your characters of note?
Well, I think this book is very popular in the Native American community because nobody has taken on the subject of Native American history, you know, except for the brief period that, you know, what they call the contact period, where the whites met the Native Americans. Well, there are, believe it or not, there are still Native Americans around here. So I had mainly two characters. One was a guy named Nompanekit, which means man born twice. And he was kind of my main source. And then there was another person who called herself Turtle Woman, is a Tonapasqua. And those two people really were my main sources. And then there were other, you know, people who are living in our time who had deep memories. And one old woman who had kept a really good journals, and she died midway through the subject thing. But
you had mentioned in a previous show that Ceremonial Times is a folkloric history. Now, in writing about your characters, how does the concept of a folkloric history affect how you explain your characters or create your characters? Or can...
Well, it would, I mean, it would free you up, for one thing. Yeah. But these people, I interviewed a lot more people than appear in the book. And you can't, you know, if you're writing a singular work, you can't just bring in 100 characters. So I focused on these few people. One of them was a guy named Toby, who was sort of a troublemaker, I gather, in the town. And then there was another guy I met, you know, who claimed he had lived in past life. Well, you know, well, maybe it's true that we are born again. I don't know, but he's telling me about the 1920s, every detail about the 1920s when he lived as a sort of a farmhand. Well, it's probably not true, but it's great history, even if he made it up. He's got his sources right, you know.
I know Ceremonial Time is part of a collection of writings that you have known as the Scratch Flat Chronicles. Now, I know another book in those chronicles, I believe, is Trespassing. Another one of my books that I've read. Can you say a little bit about what Trespassing is about?
Yes, Trespassing is, it's really a history or a sort of the story of the origin of private property. But the Littleton side of the story is that I used what's now the Sarah Doublet Forest to tell that story. And the Sarah Doublet Forest was Native American land for 3,000 years, maybe more, probably more. And then along come the English, and so for 150 years it's England. It's a colony of England. And then after 1776, it's under American law. But it's all the same property. And under American law, it was turned into private property. No one else is allowed in. And then the end of the story, there's this ongoing battle in Littleton to save the land. and eventually it's saved, and that's how we have Sarah Doublet Forest.
Interesting. Why is it important for you? A lot of your stories tie the past to the present. Why is that important for the reader?
Well, those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it, among other things. But yeah, I mean, history is prelude, or the past is a Faulkner, I think. The past isn't dead. It isn't even past, you know. So I mean, history is us. You know, we are where we are, and it's this deep sense of place. You know, and the more you can understand place and the history of a place, the more affection for it, and the more you will protect it.
Well, John, I want to thank you for taking this time to talk to us about some of your writings. You really have a great collection of books. I enjoy reading them, and I do recommend them. And I look forward to talking with you more in the future.
Yeah, great.
Thank
How
you.
about the past?